Hello to a slightly different flight review, as I will cover two flights in one video. My journey today will take us from one stan via a second stan to a Chan. Said that, let me take you from Uzbekistan to Azerbaijan via Kazakhstan. And we will fly on board Air Astana's renowned business class. Is it as good as everyone claims? Well, I got to experience the truth, so let's dive into it. Hello from Uzbekistan, from its capital Tashkent. I'm on my way to Tashkent's International Terminal, on board one of the scariest Yandex rides I have ever made, of any Halo ride services to be precise. The driver clearly had anything in mind but driving and watching the traffic. After several near crashes and people shouting at him, I arrived in one piece at the airport. The first leg today will bring me from Tashkent to Almaty in Kazakhstan, and I could use the separate business class check-in desk, where I also received a lounge invitation. This windowless Anjir lounge it is, with a strange indoor terrace. And it also looked like a lounge within a lounge, separated by a gate. The food offering wasn't too inspiring, but there was plenty of booze. So this lounge seems to be the only lounge at entire Tashkent Airport. I mean, it's quite nice. There's a fair selection of food and drinks, but it's about 30 degrees in here. I used the remaining 30 minutes before my flight to check out the terminal and maybe a little bit of plane spotting, although there weren't too many aircraft movements that caught my attention. Eventually it's boarding time via a bus gate, and I'm super excited to finally fly Air Astana for the first time. Expectations are high as their business class product is praised in many reviews I have seen. Here it is, the beautiful Air Astana Airbus A321 Neo, registered in Ireland, probably because of the aircraft lessor. This first flight on board this 6-year-old aircraft will only take 1 hour and 39 minutes. But the next flight to Azerbaijan will be a much longer leg, with a few additional perks, some of them quite memorable. Stay tuned for this. I was greeted very friendly by the cabin crew, and I got a first glance of Air Astana's relatively pompous looking regional business class, which is arranged in a 2-2 seat layout. But what's that? Look at this legroom. I certainly did not expect such a tight seat layout in business class. That's a bit of a downturn, but hey, let's first see how it goes. I've only just stepped on board. On my seat I found a massive, super fluffy pillow. But look at the legroom and also the foot space down there. I don't remember other flight reviews showing these rather sobering insights. The pretty large IFE screen can be tilted to adjust to the best viewing angle, and it offers a USB port as well as something for the headphones. The very comfortable seat offers an adjustable headrest, which, however, doesn't stay in place. As in a true business class, I was offered a welcome drink by the very friendly and smiling cabin attendant. I was also handed out a dining and drinks menu for this relatively short flight. Feel free to pause if you like having a closer look. On this flight I will go for the hot snack option, the mini pitas. Next I received the headphone case with its respective content, these pretty retro looking Air Astana branded headphones. Let's have a mandatory look at the safety card of this aircraft. I'm pleased to find individual air fans next to the reading lights on the overhead panel. A cabin attendant came by to take my food order for this flight. I took the chance to check in with her regarding my filming activity. She was totally fine with it and she was even happy to be filmed as well, without me even asking for it. How nice. What a refreshing approach and what a stark contrast to some of the European carriers I have flown on. I could feel some pride in her that she works for Air Astana and this positively reflects on me as a passenger. Nevertheless, this doesn't change the disappointing leg space and whatever are possible other shortcomings, so I will stay focused to provide an unbiased opinion what it means to fly aboard Air Astana.
Полета до города Алматы составит 1 час 10 минут. This Uzbekistan Boeing 767 certainly would be a highlight for me to fly on. How cool is that safety video, surely emphasizing Kazakhstan's role in space industry. I really should visit Baikonur spaceport at some point. Would you watch such a travel vlog if I did one on this channel? So far I'm not overly impressed by the hard product, although compared to the European airlines that I've flown so far, it's pure luxury. On the other hand, the service so far is impressive. Very attentive, very engaging, and they're quite cool with me filming, so I appreciate that. We are finally on our way to Almaty, and as I just mentioned in my brief summary before, I'm taking off with a mixed feeling about this business class hard product. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, maybe consider doing so. That would certainly make me happy. And if you like what you see here so far, why not leave a thumbs up as well? Bye bye Tashkent, bye bye Uzbekistan. It was truly an interesting experience. If you like to see my domestic flight experience in Uzbekistan, check out this video here. Since we are up in the air now, let's have a quick look at the seat comfort features such as the footrest. I don't see this kind of footrest too often anymore, but I find them quite practical. Oh, by the way, the view on this route is quite impressive. There's of course also this backrest adjustment here, which offers a limited recline, but I think here in the last row the recline is reduced due to the separation wall. The actual recline looks more like this, highly interfering with the already very limited personal space of the passenger behind. I'm very happy I have no one in front of me. On my left I find another USB port and the headphone socket. I feel like I need to show you this incredible landscape from time to time. Here on the middle console I find more power outlets. Air Astana is certainly making sure you stay charged. I received a refreshing hand towel, and in terms of business class experience, Air Astana ticks many boxes. The relatively small table I find in my right armrest. Tengri seems to be the Air Astana in-flight magazine, which I found in the seat pocket in front of me. Can you believe Air Astana has an actual aperitif cart? I thought this was a thing from the golden age of aviation from back in the 1950s. How nice, certainly a great touch by Air Astana.
My lunch was brought by another, much less enthusiastic cabin crew member. But the bread was offered by my favorite attendant. My dining experience is composed of the aforementioned mini pitas, filled with chili con carne, spinach and chicken with mushroom. The pitas came with a green salad and a chocolate tart with cherry compote. Besides the salad, which wasn't quite meeting my taste, I enjoyed the lunch service. Despite some shortfalls on the hard product, I very much enjoyed this flight, and I was sad to see that we are already descending towards Almaty.
We are approaching Almaty in Kazakhstan, and I must say for a 1.5 hour flight, the service was excellent. The food we got, you saw it before, was very plentiful, and I enjoyed the service. And they even had this bar cart pushing along the aisle. I could have had quite a choice of cocktails, but for me it's a bit too early still in the day, so I decided to go for a Diet Coke only. So would I book Air Astana business class again? I would say yes on a short flight like this and on a daytime flight. Otherwise for a night flight or a longer flight, this fairly tight seat pitch for business class and the lack of recline, or if somebody reclines in front of me, then I think it's a fairly tight affair. So overall, I enjoyed this 1.5 hour trip with Air Astana in daytime. I'm soon going to have a medium-haul trip with Air Astana, also in business class, so I'm going to find out if there is any difference. Maybe the hard product is different, so we will see, and if that's the case, I will let you know.
But I should also mention that my next medium-haul flight is going to be on a different aircraft, which may or may not change my opinion. There was certainly much more to add to this review, as you will see shortly. Welcome to Kazakhstan. A pity I have only a few hours here. I would love to discover more of this massive country. But I shall return soon. If you don't want to miss out on my future adventure, hit that subscribe button. But no pressure. A bit late, but I just discovered this additional little fold-out table. I guess the seat is full of surprises. After a quite lengthy transfer process with very grim looking officers along the way, I arrived at the new and honestly quite stunning looking Air Astana, the Shanirak Lounge. It offers a good selection of food and beverage, a manned bar, shower rooms and very comfortable sleeping and rest areas. I felt the time flew by very quickly. Soon I had to get ready for my evening departure to Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan. My Almaty airport feels modern and fresh. It isn't the largest airport, and I was happy I could use the lounge as I would have been bored very quickly otherwise. Here is my next ride. This Air Astana Airbus A321-200, not a Neo, but a 12 years old classic version. So we will see how this one compares to the previous business class experience. Firstly, and most importantly, the legroom check. It is a bit more generous than on the newer A321neo I had earlier today, so new isn't always better, I guess. But there is no IFE screen. Okay, that was a bit unexpected, especially since the flight takes 3.5 hours. And then there is this blanket.
Oh my god, this is the most comfortable, most smooth blanket I have ever touched. I'm seriously considering asking if I can take one home or buy one or however that works.
And let's not forget the headphones. Here's the slightly old-fashioned IFE control, but to control what exactly? And here's the seat recliner knob.
Safety reason, power banks and spare batteries must be placed in hand baggage.
This handhold strap seems to be an overkill, but I will find out shortly that this is not what I expected. The table I find in here. Again, a much appreciated welcome drink was provided. And I received again a menu, however this one, on this longer flight, is a bit more extensive, so I'm looking forward to experience the onboard dining soon. We are on our way through the night, across Central Asia to the Azerbaijan shores of the Caspian Sea. Oh, guess what I received shortly after takeoff? A tablet, representing tonight's IFE, and it can be mounted on the hand strap we saw earlier.
Let's have a look at the in-flight entertainment that is provided on this iPad. So we have movies, media library, games, kids club, series and TV, Kazakhstan information, music, and the survey. So let's have a look at the movies. Okay, I can see that's quite a selection. Oh yeah. I think it looks like a decent selection. Then media library, what's that? Okay, I guess need to connect to Wi-Fi for that. How can I go back now? Oh, here we go. Then we have games, 5 of them. Kids club. Then TV shows, few of them. Not sure if I know any of them. Kazakhstan information. Music. So that's also quite a selection, I would say. Definitely enough for 3.5 hours flight. Okay, and survey. All in all, I would say that's quite a decent selection, isn't it?
I received a bottle of water for the night and shortly after a wet hand towel announcing the upcoming meal service. But first, an aperitif. My choice of dinner tonight consists of chicken kapsa with rice and almonds, and with it I received a mixed salad, garlic bread and a fruit platter. Overall quite tasty. I concluded the dinner with a green tea. Oh, and before I forget, I also received this amenity kit. Shall we quickly check it out? The pouch contains this eye mask, a thing that I don't know how to pronounce, comb, something like that. Toothbrush, earplugs, a pair of socks, a mini pen, some body lotion, toothpaste, and that was about it. Simple, nothing too exciting, but still a nice little perk on this 3.5 hour flight. Let's quickly check out the Air Astana forward lavatory before I try to get a little bit of sleep. Since we are on an Airbus A321, we can't expect a larger bathroom than this. A selection of creams and lotions, and there's also a baby changing table. A nice touch I find this flower bouquet. Back to my seat where the world's most silky and fluffy blanket awaits me. I indeed managed to have a short nap, very short, as the light went on in preparation of our landing in Azerbaijan. Welcome to Baku, where I will have a few days to discover the capital of Azerbaijan. How would I compare this longer flight to the previous short business class flight with Air Astana? I would stick to the verdict I mentioned after my first leg. The hard product isn't convincing, yet still a world better than for example Lufthansa's absolutely horrible Euro business class from Baku to Frankfurt, which I took a few days later and which meant a 5-hour night flight sitting on an economy class seat while paying a business class fare. What a horrendous waste of money that was. I felt scammed by Lufthansa. Therefore, I actually would recommend Air Astana's regional business class as the overall experience was very pleasant and I felt like the roughly $360 I spent for these 2 flights was well worth it. By the way, isn't this a cool airport terminal building? If you are interested, I will add a minute of footage from my stay here in Baku. But for now, thanks for watching. Till next time, bye for now.